Welcome back. I'm Greg Jarrett in for Lou Dobbs. The United Nations Security Council today unanimously approving tough new sanctions against North Korea. The latest sanctions are punishment for the regime's launch last month of a ballistic missile that Pyongyang says is capable of striking the United States mainland. Both China and Russia joined in that resolution. It's a sign the Trump doctrine appears to be working. Joining me now, President of the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, Cliff May. Cliff, always great to talk to you. So the economic vice is tightening on North Korea. I mean, these latest sanctions block fuel, ships, workers. But the history of Kim Jong-un suggests he doesn't care. He doesn't care if his people are starving to death, economically deprived, living in poverty, dying. So what's the impact here?
We don't know, and I think, people think that North Korea is the most sanctioned country on earth. It's not by a long shot. You're right. Kim Jong-un doesn't care. On the other hand, at a certain point, if his economy is about to totally implode, if he thinks it's a danger to his regime, if he thinks there may be generals or colonels who are looking at him in a bad way, he'll kill them, of course, if he can. It could have an impact. Before you get to the use of military force, dangerous thing, you want to try you want that to be the last resort. So what's going on now is useful in terms of tightening sanctions. These workers we're talking about in other countries are essentially slave labor. They get sent abroad. The money goes to Kim Jong-un, not to the workers. We're going to cut off a lot of the oil, only 2 million barrels annually, if my understanding of the new sanctions is correct. And then and vessels that are violating sanctions can be seized. This is going to take a while, but before it really comes to fruition. But it's important that we try these economic methods first before we move on to the kinetic.
Are you satisfied with the way President Trump is refocusing national security and American foreign policy on American interests?
Oh, yes. I mean, that has to be, that absolutely needs to be primary. In particular, and you see this in his national security strategy that came out this week, he is looking at what threatens Americans. That's our main concern. And, well, it should be. It is a great problem that for 8 years, President Obama ignored the maturation of the North Korean threat, and other administrations before, I would have to say, did way too little about it. President Trump says there are those who are threatening us. That's got to be our top priority, especially if it's an imminent threat, though also it's long range. In the national security strategy, he talks about two classes of nations: the rogue regimes, such as North Korea, such as Iran, and the revisionist powers, such as as Russia and China. This is coherent. This is realistic. This is hard-headed. It's important that America be powerful and play a leadership role in the world for Americans, but it's also good for everybody else, certainly for every free nation and everybody that wants to be free.
Real quickly, your reaction to the latest news that the Attorney General is now looking into the Obama administration, trying to kill Operation Cassandra, which targeted Hezbollah's operations here within the United States.
Well, look, good for General Sessions, first of all. As you know, Josh Meyer of Politico did a 13,000-word, really comprehensive, a big piece of investigative reporting. What he seems to have come up with is that Operation Cassandra, which targeted Hezbollah, Foreign Legion of Iran, terrorist organization also involved with drug cartels, organized crime, particularly in Latin America. And essentially, the Obama administration said, lay off, we need this nuclear deal with Iran. What happened, Jeff Sessions is now going to investigate. Probably Congress is going to investigate. I'm hopeful this will be a bipartisan enterprise. I certainly am. And finally, I think what should happen is that Operation Cassandra should be revived.
And the prosecutions should go forward.
Absolutely.
That President Obama allegedly and his administration put a halt to.
That's right.
And there may be some other crimes that were committed in the process. We'll have to look at it. Cliff May, always great to see you. Thanks for being with us. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. You too. Merry Christmas.
We're coming right back with much more. Stick around.